Good morning from Dubbo. Just doing a light morning run after a lot of walking around Dubbo Zoo yesterday. So today we're going to head down to Parks and hopefully we've got some interesting things to do between leaving here and getting there. Behind me stands the dish out at Parks, famous landmark. I won't go into too much of the history and stuff about it. I think there's a brilliant video that Tom Scott did on it in the last year, which is certainly worth checking out. But I'm just going to have a look at it, and as what has happened quite a lot during this trip, Cora is also here to check out another awesome site, but she's doing her favourite activity rather than taking in the beauty or ingenuity of a different site. She's slipping. Oh, she's awake.
How long have you been at Park?
3 weeks ago. 27 years. Oh, there we go. Gotta protect your head. Let's protect it like this. Oh, a little movie poster.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Concrete, but once they did that, they had to let it cure for a year, and then when that was cured, they then put the turret and the hub on, and then they welded the ribs into shape at night when the temperature was constant, and then when that was done, they lifted them individually and bolted them to the turret, and then the last thing they did was then they put the focus cabin on, and then the last thing was the paddle. So from where to go, in terms of the amount of work they did, was 22 months.
Yeah.
But it was 3 years in planning, and about Barnes Wallace, who was famous for inventing the bouncing bombs in World War II. It was of Dan Buster's.
Dan Buster's, yeah.
And so they took that concept, because it was his idea to build it like an inverted umbrella, to pivot it in the centre, and you just point it like that. And so they took that idea, that concept, and then gave it to the British firm Freeman Fox and Partners to design it. And the senior partner, Sir Ralph Freeman, was the man who designed and built the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So, so they made sure it was going to last this result.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not because we think that this is going to fall on you.
I don't know
If
how
it does, it won't help. But rather, we do occasionally have things dropping off the dish. The most likely things are the pine cones that the birds leave. You see them on the ground everywhere here. You don't want one of those hitting Cora. This is a good spot just to stop and look up, because you get a sense of the scale of the structure from here. And it's 64 metres in diameter, and that's made the telescope more sensitive to the high frequencies. So the most recent one was in 2003.
Jeez.
Okay. So just before we go up, this is the ground floor where we have the air conditioning units that have electronics and Cora cool. Okay. And also power distribution boards and communication, if you remember that. And over there is the most important room in the building. So when we were here at 2 or 3 in the morning in the old days, where the coffee and snacks kept us going at night.
Brilliant.
Okay. Anyway, come on up. It was transmitting at 20 watts, so less than one of these light bulbs. But we were receiving the equivalent of a trillionth billionth of a watt, which for us is a strong signal, and so you can see the signal there very booming in with the two subcarriers there. Okay, but for us that's actually a strong signal. Most of the things that we normally observe are even weaker still. Okay, so this is what we refer to as the old control room, or upstairs control. And you can understand why we moved everything downstairs.
Yeah.
It's just too crowded and too noisy with all the cooling fans about nowadays. But in the old days, the control desk used to be located about there, the one with people erroneously refer to it as a feather. But if I was to release the feather, let it slowly drift to the floor, here we go. Okay, the energy that feather expended when it struck the floor was more than all the energy ever collected by every radio telescope ever built, in terms of the astronomical data. Thunderbirds, but it's actually very new. It was made to look like the old one, so we knew how to use it. But actually, with this, at the moment, we switched it all off, but it sits on local and manual control. But normally when we're observing, when I switch over to let astronomers off site, I will put it on remote and computer control, so they could then
Jeez.
So this is what we refer to. Come on this way.
Yeah, cheers.
This is what we refer to as the azimuth track. This is the actual azimuth track where we move it in azimuth, left and right.
Wow,
You
yeah.
can see it's resting on 4 rollers, 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 rollers. Yeah.
But you can see there's nothing actually holding it down. It's pivoted in the centre. And it's just the sheer weight of the structure that keeps it grounded onto the track here. Because from this level on up, everything weighs 1,000 tonnes. And when it's in the stoke position like it is now, that's a safe position, and it can withstand winds of over 200 kilometres an hour, which we never get here. That's cyclonic, we never get that.
Yeah.
The highest wind speeds recorded are around 110 or so kilometres an hour.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the first 10 years of the telescope's operation,
Well, that was a pretty amazing tour. I wasn't expecting that. Thanks, Vanessa. You've got some friends in high places and some wonderful, a wonderful network in Cairo. But yeah, and thank you, John. Really appreciate the tour there. It was awesome. Yeah, like I said, didn't want to sort of go through and make like a scientific, in-depth discussion or anything. Just wanted to show the family, checking out an awesome site. But yeah, it's a dish. I've always wanted to go there.